Studying how the colors build the shapes before tattooing them will give you the confidence to focus on packing the pigment without having to guess the tone or the value of the colors. Alex now goes in with the turquoise overlapping the black. The two areas both packed in with a magnum will automatically create a smooth look through a slightly blurry line, which is closer to reality. Looking constantly back at the reference, we can see that there are slight hue changes. The turquoise turns into green in the lens reflection. Instead of dipping in straight green with the tip dirty of blue, he now dips in yellow ochre. Same for the other lens until he gets to the full saturation. Still with rinsing the tip, Alex goes into the white to get some lighter tones, keeping tone and hue variations very close. Now he packs in some dark blue to round up the lenses more. By packing the dark blue afterwards over the already packed turquoise, he can achieve a smoother and realistic look. He puts some more blue in the frame as well with the magnum, and then he cleans it up some more along the edges with a liner needle. With a 7 Magnum 0.35mm, he fills in the tighter areas outside the sunglasses. He works quickly some of the net as a see-through the lenses. Very roughly, just an indication. He goes in the mouth, still following priority of the color hue. Reds, in this case, have stronger intensity than skin tones. That's why he chooses to do those first. Using a 7 Magnum, he lays down an undertone that blocks in the volumes of the lips, saving the tighter textures for later. Working with the magnum sideways, he manages to be tight enough to be anatomically correct, but soft enough to be true to the image. In fact, in human features, there aren't hardly ever superlines, and even if there are some, they look more natural when packed with a magnum. In every passage, he uses the same procedure. A base coat of medium tone which he will darken a bit to accentuate and build volumes, leaving empty skin only for the final highlights. He now works in the deeper parts on the side of the mouth. With a round shader, he works in the textures in the lips, isolating the white highlights areas. Then, with some pink, he overlaps the red. Skin tones are the most important part of the portrait. First, he lays down the mid-tones by mixing a flesh tone with some orange and quick dip in a brick brown. This creates a sort of burnt sienna, which gives a perfect warm natural look to the skin. Alex first packs the neck area. After the main tone is packed, he goes darkening up with some brick brown overlapping the previously packed black and brown, warming up the shadow part of the face. It's key trying to identify the kind of brown that's closer to the picture we are reproducing, whether it's Venetian brown or skin tone or brick red. Once this is decided, you can work with it by adding some ochre, some magenta to make it cooler or warmer, or some white to change it in value. Now he fills in as much as possible, moving fast with the magnum without looking for full saturation right away. This keeps the skin less stressed, which allows following passes of darker and lighter, cooler and warmer colors. Although in the photo the side of the face is darker, Alex first uses a lighter color combination to better calibrate the dark tones at the later stage, with a smoother outcome. Don't get scared by not achieving saturation at first pass. It will come together when you do the final passes. Without cleansing the tube, Alex dips in the dark brown and overlaps this shade over the previous brown pass. The two tones now mix in the skin, creating a soft gradient, slowly saturating pass by pass. He now dips from the dark brown in the black and quickly in some water too, to have the darker skin tone. Water makes the color transparent, giving you a translucent tone. Throughout all this, hand machine movements not to stress too much the areas we are working. It's very important to underline that. Alex keeps moving to the lighter areas, using as a light skin tone done by adding white and ochre when needed. He compares the volumes with the lighter tones, closing little by little on the light areas, left for last. He then overlaps the light skin tones mixed with white and ochre to the previously washed in medium tones. Again, this is the pro of using this technique, that the first medium tone laid down lightly can easily be darkened and also lightened. Alex moves now to the nose, which is already blocked in its main shapes by the medium skin tones. Going in with a lighter skin tone helps him to fill the area without having to recreate the volumes that will show through anyway. This way, the nose will naturally belong to the face. Alex now starts putting down the light colors. Normally starts from the forehead, which is a part usually heavily hit by the light. He lays down the light colors left to right till he gets to the reflected blue hint that hits the right side. In this case, he lays down the lighter skin tones, as if there wasn't any blue, and then washes in the reflected color, diluting the blue to create a smoother, less invasive and plastic result. Now he puts some shade of color under the frame of the glasses, which is the area more heavily hit by the light, using a slightly darker light tone. Some darker brick brown on the shadow part of the nose and some dark brown along the main line. An hard edge there would not be credible. Also under the nose, he whips slowly darkening the shadow area to better calibrate the hardness of it. Overlapping the light tones, the structure of the face starts emerging. In realistic tattooing, you cannot rush or skip steps. You want to get to the finished look because it will come eventually together only if you respect the necessary steps. Every layer you add to the color range will add to the realism of the skin tones. Alex is now putting down the lighter tones, a dirty white which he mixes by dipping the white without rinsing the tube from the light skin. The pure white must be reserved for the highlights or it will lose intensity. Then he goes back and darkens up this light pass without worrying about getting it dirty by washing it down with water a bit. This way, you'll protect the dirty white while getting a smoother gradient. Alex now works in some pink as reflected light in the chin area, washing it down with water for a better shade. By looking at the picture, Alex notices he needs more roundness to the face, which achieves by packing some dark brown mixed with a grayish blue and some water. In the cheek area, he still does some movements with the 15 Magnum. Once the skin tones are down, Alex blocks in the red part of the net just following the shape on the reference picture. With a liner, he defines the lips some more. Alex now puts in the bright colors in the background. Big open masses balance the unfocusedness achieved by overlapping random circles. He also fills in the spots left open in the hair. This will create reflection and shininess.